What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Faisal Kamisa of the Sports Sofa, and this is your NHL Nightly Playoff Recap. Now, each series is now 2 games deep, so it gives us a little bit of chance to look a little deeper in the series and see what the pressing needs are for each of the teams. Let's start with today's games. In Detroit took a 2-0 series lead with a 4-3 victory over Phoenix. Now, this game was much far apart than the score indicates. Detroit came out with a wicked 4-0 lead, with Phoenix responding frivolously in the third period with 2 late goals, but just simply running out of time. Now, this can be looked at in 2 ways going forward for Phoenix. Phoenix can either take this as a positive, use this as momentum, use their home crowd in Game 3 as momentum, and come out firing with the beginning of Game 3. Detroit, the veteran-savvy team, coached by one of the best in the game, led by one of the best in the game in Nick Lidstrom, Pavel Datsyuk, and crew, they could use this as a little bit of fuel as well. They could see themselves as this team that other teams can still creep up on because of their age, and they as well can use that as motivation going forward in Phoenix and to ensure that they take a 3-0 lead and ultimately close out the series. The keys for Detroit is to not let their foot off the gas. They are firing right now. The 4-0 lead was enough to secure it. Anytime you have a 4-0 lead, generally you are going to win. So Detroit did enough to get by. The keys for Phoenix was, well, use your home crowd as a motivating factor. Phoenix may well be on the move after this series, so this might be their last chance to see their fans. It's important to reward them well. Let's move on to the East, where second seed Philadelphia Flyers were taking on the 7th seed Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo shocked Philly in Game 1 with the 1-0 victory, with Philly's offense simply, not showing up. Today was a different story. Both teams scored 3 goals each in the first period. Sergei Bobrovsky got pulled, Brian Boucher got put in, and Philadelphia came out with a 5-4 victory. This is a team more like the Flyers you're supposed to see. A team that's highly skilled on offense, and maybe a little bit lacking on defense right now with the absence of Chris Pronger. Bobrovsky was left to face some shots that, not many goalies will be able to save, but still, his inexperience is only magnified with the lack of Pronger in the lineup. Keys for Buffalo is to, stick to their game plan. Score gritty 1 or 2 goals and just shut teams down defensively. Ryan Miller can make saves if you let him. Buffalo's defense was all over the ice today. Philadelphia was easily scoring goals, and this cannot be a positive going forward. A good thing for Buffalo is they are returning to the HSBC arena where, not many people really like to play, but expect Philly to come out firing. Expect Philly to use this momentum. The only question is who is going to be in net, and is Chris Pronger going to be in the lineup? We shall see. Over to Boston, where, things have taken a little bit of an unexpected turn in the last 2 games. Boston's offensive weaknesses have been very much magnified this series against Montreal, who even without the presence of Hal Gill at the back, looked very defensively sound. Carey Price was again unbelievable in goal, and Montreal came out with a 3-1 victory. Keys for Boston is to, find ways to score. We know Savard's out. He's been out for a while. We know they don't have many offensive names, and they usually generate a lot of offense from the back end, but this hasn't been the case in this series. Tim Thomas has still been playing well despite the 2 losses, but without any offense supporting him, he's just only looking stupider and stupider. He may win the Vezina, but he may not even get it at the first round. And the other side of the ice, Montreal is doing what Montreal tends to do come playoff time. Grinding out victories, not playing pretty, and just, getting the job done. Can't really ask for more. They now go home to the Bell Center in Montreal, where the crowd is going to be rocking, the fans are going to be cheering, and Boston is going to be getting booed. Expect the Bees to, step up their bee's nest, or they will be out very soon. Our 4th and final game of the night was the Battle of California in its continuance in its Game 2 match with the LA Kings and the San Jose Sharks. As you remember, Joel Pavelski's overtime goal gave the Sharks a 1-0 lead and a collective sigh of relief in the city of San Jose. Start panicking again. A 4-0 victory by LA sees this series turn back on its head as they head to LA tied at 1. Jonathan Quick was unbelievable, shutting down the high-flying San Jose offense, and Drew Doughty scored 2 goals and had 2 assists in what was finally his breakout game of this entire year. You can argue that he's been missing in action for a lot of this year after what was an amazing 09-10 season. But if this is what LA has waited for, if this is where he finally wakes up, I'm sure the Kings and their fans will definitely take it. So this series is tied back at 1, heading back to Los Angeles. Now we look forward to Game 3s going on tomorrow in what has only been a unbelievable NHL playoffs to date. No team has really exerted their dominance, aside from, say, Washington and Vancouver taking 2-0 leads, but even they were vulnerable at times. Washington, of course, needed that overtime victory, and Vancouver needed Chicago to have a lot of misses in order to win those games. I don't expect any teams to sweep. I don't expect any 4-0 wins. I don't even know if I expect any 5-game wins series here, but as a fan of the game, as someone who wants to do this every night, you can't ask for anything else. Thank you for joining us these first 2 games. We definitely have enjoyed it. Hope you have as well, and we will see you tomorrow.